Welcome, everyone. We got Steven here, and he's going to share a little bit more about this transformation over the last 12 months using the Kinetic method. Steven, welcome, and can you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit more about age, height, weight, lifestyle, so that people get an understanding of where you started and what circumstances you have to begin with this transformation.
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Steve Myers. I live in Franklin, Tennessee, which is right outside of Nashville. I've been in residential real estate for over 20 years now. I've been married for 20 years. Been married 21 years. I have a 20-year-old daughter, 16-year-old daughter, and just really enjoy where we live and work. What brought me to you, Mauro, was I had always lived a lifestyle where I was in pretty decent shape. Working out regularly, eating pretty good was always something that was important to me. But I was always kind of that, at my best, I looked good with clothes on, was kind of that skinny fat guy, right? That no one really knew wasn't in great shape. And even though I was at the gym, I never in my life have I been at a place with results that I am now after working with you for a year. And so I have great gratitude for that, because I achieved a level in a year that I didn't think was really possible. But most of my life, I was, not fat. I was fairly fit. With both of my wife's pregnancies, I put on 25 pounds and put on more weight than she did. And I was able to get that off. In 2021, I believe it was 2021, I had a couple of surgeries. I tore a rotator cuff doing a pretty aggressive workout at D1 here in Franklin. And so I had that surgery, and that's 6 weeks on your back, you're at least. And then shortly thereafter, I had another surgery to remove some bone spurs on my foot. And during that process, I gained a lot of weight and I couldn't get it off. I was doing all the things that I had done before, but it wasn't working. At that time, when I met you, Mara, I was 59 years old, and the metabolism just was working differently than it did 20 years ago. And so I was stuck and I didn't know where to go. And that's when I met you.
You said you said when you reached out, you were stuck and you weren't able to get that weight off that 20 years ago with faster metabolism would have been easier. What did you try on your own or some sort of programs before? I know you said D1. Any diets, any nutrition plans there, or was it just simply eating healthier and cleaner?
Yeah, so I was focusing on going to the Y and working out. And it's funny, I go to the Y now. I still have my membership and I'll go there some, but I look at the way that the guys are working out. I just laugh, because it's just like they're just sitting around talking, really. So, but that was what I thought was working out. So I was doing that, and I was trying to eat well. Actually did keto for a couple of months, which I really loved. But my wife, who is an eye doctor, was really concerned about cholesterol with keto. And I said, oh, it'll be fine. But that gave me results. But I told her, I said, give me a couple of months and I'll go get some blood work done and we'll see. Well, my cholesterol had risen to 269 after 2 months of keto. So I realized that was not going to be my fix. And so then I just went back to trying to eat lower carbs and higher protein. Now, the protein that I was getting then is nothing compared to what I'm getting now, but I just did what I knew to do. And I think, Mauro, part of why people need you or someone like you is that there's so much information out there now with YouTube and the internet and Google, and my goodness, everybody has an opinion, and very few of those opinions actually will give you the results that you want. And they're so confusing because you just need someone to keep you on a track. Your track is a great track. There's lots of good tracks out there, but you start following this track and then you hear somebody talk about this program. Well, you think maybe you'll try that instead. And you just kind of bounce around and you have no consistency. And that's, I guess, in hindsight, what I was doing. I didn't realize it at the time, but I just had packed on 20 pounds and I was having no luck at all getting it off. And I was just kind of miserable in that body.
Today it's different, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and you made a good point, and you're not the only man, even the only person who's went through this with. I really like the analogy with the track, on track, off track, and you're right. Pick one track that you can sustain and you enjoy and repeat it instead of let's drive here, let's drive there. It's yeah, when you're at point A and you want to get to point B, pick one route and stick to the plan until you get there, not change the route a million times, or you'll eventually never get there, right? And you'll maybe end up at square one or even further behind than when you started. So if you reflect and look back at the past 12 plus months, and you said you achieved more here than pretty much what you did all on your own before in a lifetime. What kind of results did you get? Maybe tangible, weight wise, body fat wise, but also intangible, like how you feel, anything that comes with that.
Yeah. So I'm 5'7", and when I started with you, I was 183 pounds. And usually at my best, I would hover around 162, and I was happy with that. But there was not, I didn't have a scrawny body, but there was nothing that was terribly worthy of being proud of. But it was my reality. I thought to myself, okay, well, I'm on my late 50s. I look really good for my age. And then I started working with you, and you started talking smack about 10% body fat. And I'm like, man, there's no way that I will ever get there. I just want to kind of get back to the 162. Well, you challenged my thinking, and I kind of reframed where I'm going. And I still have not hit 10%, Mara, but I at my best, I think I was down at 150. I've floated up just a little bit since then. And I'm now got a new focus, and I'm going to actually need to take more weight off to get to that 10% body fat. But in the process, I also put on significant muscle. I don't know how much, but I look in the mirror, and I can tell that there's definitely a transformation in the muscles in my body. And my wife has made comments over and over again about, just the progress. And, and I actually get it in my community too, when I'm at the pool, when I'm out walking. We live in a subdivision that has like 5 miles of walking trails. And as you know, part of your program is the 10,000 steps. And so people see me out regularly, just walking and walking and walking. And it's been kind of fun because as the neighbors, they're like, man, what are you doing? How are you doing that? And I'm pretty vascular, and I had never been vascular before. And so they see the veins in my arms and, my legs, and they're like, especially the guys, it's pretty funny. My wife laughs about that too, is the guys always talk about the veins. Man, how are you doing that? So, that's kind of where I'm at in a place that I didn't know that I ever even had a desire to be.
Beautiful. And it's funny you mentioned that with the guys. It's I know it from my own transformation and from other guys as well in the program or friends. Like we sometimes we expect like, all right, all the women or I will get so much attention, and yeah, your attractiveness goes up. But when you're at the gym, it's usually the guys that, as you said, hit you up.
Yeah.
Hey, like, what are you doing for your traps, and what about the arms? And so the attention is way more there from the guys, and especially with the vascularity. I think big part goes back to what you said initially, where a lot of guys will put in the work and hit the gym, eat well, but the ROI is just not there, even though they put in a ton of effort. And when they see someone like you, who's maybe 10, 20 years older than them, maybe 30 years older, and he's super veiny and jacked, lean, then they will start scratching their head and thinking, well, what am I doing wrong, and what is he doing that I'm not doing, right?
It's funny, Mara, that I've referred a couple of guys to you that have been in a coaching program that I'm a part of. And there was one morning that we all were wearing shirts that were alike. They had a saying on the front of it. And so they didn't get the shirts to us in front beforehand. So they just tossed them out in the room, and we just changed right there. And one of the guys was Johnny, looked at me. He's like, Steve, why am I not working with your fitness coach? And I'm like, Johnny, I don't know. Why are you not working with my fitness coach? And he's now working with you, So it's just like, It's funny, guys. I didn't expect all the attention, but guys notice. We all notice each other, and we all strive to be our best. And when you see somebody getting the results, you want to know what's going on.
I agree. So what was different this time than with any other approach that you tried?
You know, what was different this time was it was just day by day, trusting the process, taking it one step at a time, because you don't see results day by day. And you don't even really have a great appreciation for where you start to where you're at unless you look at before and after pictures, because it's all so gradual. And so before, I think if I wasn't getting results pretty quickly, I would say, oh, this isn't working. You know, if I had been at it for 3 or 4 weeks and I wasn't seeing any results, it's just like, oh, well, let me look for something else. But with you, you're super you're the right personality fit for me, because there's no drama. You're tough, you're disciplined. It's just very factual. You're data driven, and I'll listen to someone like that. I won't listen to someone that talks schmack and doesn't have the results themselves. But so with you, even though I didn't know that it was working, I trusted the process, and then day by day, day by day, day by day, suddenly all of a sudden I'm down 30 pounds, and um, it just, that's what I needed. I needed someone that was a calm director of what I was doing, what I was eating, what my workouts were every day, keeping me accountable to the steps. And so it's just a slow process, and you just have to trust it.
So would you say the delaying gratification was helpful to appreciate all the hard work that you put in and therefore allowed you to sustain the results?
Perhaps, but I really do think it was not an intentional decision that I had made to delay the gratification. It was simply that I wasn't able to get there on my own, and someone was giving me a program, and I was paying money for it. And so why would I not do what he tells me to do? And over the course of time, the results started coming, and people noticed more than I did because it was happening gradually. So I had confidence in you, Mauro, and I just decided I'm just gonna do what you tell me to do, and just be no drama with the rest of it. And that's what I did.
Were you skeptical when we first chatted?
I was not skeptical of you or the program, but you had goals for me to have six-pack abs, and I'm starting to have some abs now. We've got more work to do together, but that was never my goal. And so I was skeptical of that. I'm like, look, dude, I'm about 60 years old. I'm not going to have six-pack abs. And all of a sudden, it's like, okay, I can do this. I could look better than most 35-year-olds. I mean, I'm just amazed at the progress that I'm having with you. And I know that the only thing that stops me from moving forward is either my own limiting blind mindset, or just not being willing to do what's required. And the thing is, the walking takes time. Eating, actually, when I'm following the macro diet, like now when I leave the house in the morning, I pack a really light, simple lunch. And so it's taking actually far less time, because I'm not trying to go find a restaurant to go to and waiting in line and waiting for someone to serve me. I feel like that's been very freeing as well, because I save a lot of time with my meals. And then the workouts, it's only 3 times a week, right? So, and it's usually an hour. By the time I put my stretching in, I'll be an hour and 20 minutes 3 times a week. So, other than the walking, it's not much. There's not much time required. It's just pretty amazing for the results you get.
Good ROI. Would you say there was an unexpected surprise, like something you didn't think about before you joined, and then when you joined, you thought like, wow, that was pretty cool. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I think probably the biggest surprise for me was how important nutrition is to the results that you get. Fueling your body properly is so important. And I found that as I kind of dialed in the processed foods, when they were removed and the protein was increased, I just had a greater mental clarity. And that really surprised me as well. So I think that was the biggest takeaway for me is, diet is super important. And the macros that I needed were not what I had ever been educated on in the past. So just really loading up on protein, but then also the importance of both carbs and fat, because there's all these fad diets out there that I've tried so many of them that said, eliminate the fats, eliminate the carbs. And it's just all a balance. You know, it's like, you can't be a radical diet, a radical program is not sustainable. Nor is it desirable. You won't get the ultimate long-term results. So it's nutrition and it's balance. It's education.
Mm-hmm. I have one last question for you. For
Yes, sir.
all the guys watching right now who are maybe on the fence, should I do it? Maybe not. Can I do it my own? Who's that stranger online? What are your words of advice to them?
You know, I would say don't do it if you're not committed to the results. But if you're at a point where I've got to change my life and I don't want to live the way that I have been living, and you've not been able to do it on your own, that's insanity, right? So why would you not pick somebody and commit to the program and give it long enough where you can truly tell whether it's a good program or not? And so, you know, your program, Mauro, has worked for me. It's worked for my friends. I've seen it work for all the guys in your program. You know, but someone's got to be committed to it. They've got to want it for themselves. So if you're a wife watching this and wants to buy the program for, don't do it until your husband's ready, because there's a level of commitment there. But man, if you're a guy that's sitting there and you're not happy with the shape that your body is in and you don't feel your best and you know you've got more to give the world, dude, you gotta pull it together. And whether it's Mauro or somebody like Mauro, it's time to make the commitment. It's time to get serious, because this is your life. It's your one and only life. And your body is the container for your life. So if you don't have a healthy, optimized body that's filled with power, then that's going to be the life that you live. So you got to decide how you want to live. And if you want to step it up, then I would highly recommend that you talk with Mauro, and just don't pick the program apart. Don't try to customize it for yourself, but just listen to what your coach tells you to do, and you'll get the results.
Awesome. Well, Steven, thank you so much for being here and sharing some of the details and insights on your transformation and helping others see behind the curtains. I appreciate you.
You've changed my life, and you've changed the way that I look at life. So thank you very much, Mauro. I appreciate you too.
Thank you.